talk about decentralization and then annihilation. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Litecoin, your coin, blockchain, baby. Mondays at 1600 hours Eastern, Studio A.
Deep understanding must arise during these times of unparalleled deceit. A view into the depths of society upon which this country has fallen, a storm brews upon the horizon. It's been said that those that have the eyes to see and the ears to hear will play a paramount role in the furthering of humanity and civilized society. But can civilized society and humanity survive the coming conflicts not seen since a dawn of time in ages bypast? But you can find true forms of information and knowledge in abundance at revolution.radio, freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the globe. Stand upon the right side of history.
General Holder, you've got to get us out of here now! I won't let you down. I won't let you down, son.
Revolution.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Hi everybody, welcome to Sunday Night Live. Your host Christine Hart. My guest this week will be TAJINDER Gill, and we're going to be talking about truthers and the truth community and how it's all gone, a little bit tits up. So this is going to be a discussion tonight. So welcome to the show, Taj. How are you?
Hi Christine, how are you? I'm good.
Yeah, very well. I just had a healing session with Sarah actually in her group.
Do you want me to introduce myself? I don't know if any of your listeners will know,
I thought
will know who I am.
Everyone knows who you are though.
I don't know about that. I haven't been on Revolution Radio for some time, so.
I know, but the listeners will all know.
Yeah, well, I'm Taj. I manage Sarah Rachel Adams. For those of you who don't know, that's my full-time job. It takes up most of my time. That's about all. I haven't prepared anything, so yeah, that's about it. Really. That explains everything.
Oh, yeah, of course. I just had a healing session with her, and well, as you know, you were there.
Yeah.
We were just speaking about it. It was really awesome. I mean, all of them are really awesome, but that, I mean, you know, that one. Well, they're all awesome, actually. That one was so cool. So she took us to
the underworld.
Through what?
She took you into the underworld this week.
Yes, that's it, through a portal, and we accessed parts of us that split off. I saw parts of myself when I was 9. Another when I was 5. The one where I was 5 was, you know, quite strong, you know, and I really went back into it. And then she said to let the trauma in it be washed out, and then to turn it to a golden light and then put it back inside us. So I did that with me age 5. Then I did that with me age 9. Which was when my father sexually abused me in Dublin. And then she I think she did something about people that we're connected to, or something like that, or something about shame and doing the shadow work, parts of us ashamed. And I saw my father again, and I saw, and I kind of, well, she told us to wash the trauma out. So I washed the trauma out of him, and then he looked totally different. And then he kind of turned into a golden ball of light, and it bounced towards me, and I swallowed it. And then there was the interesting thing she did with parts of our shadow that have got, she went through all the emotions, and when she got to worthlessness, I saw myself when I was made homeless, and I was like on the bed, and I had loads of fear, and I was trying to transmute it, and as she said, like, send it love, and what did she say? Send it the unconditional love and the golden light. So I was doing that, and then suddenly it shot up, and it turned into a dragon, and it was really quite interesting. It started breathing fire around that place I used to live and this place, and then it really rose up, and it was a dragon. That was quite interesting. Yeah, see, you didn't do it. You missed out, big style.
No, I have to monitor the room, so I can't take part in the sessions. I have to keep an eye on any latecomers and keep an eye on the chat and questions and things.
Yeah, I mean, it's so awesome at healings. I always think, the chat sort of, I'm not saying it brings it down, but I try not to listen to that, because I just want to stay where I am in it,
Yeah, I understand.
It's really out of this world. So what happened with Sarah? So 1 minute she was girl next door, and I know she knew a lot about truth and, what's going on, and she was, knowledgeable. But now, to become, who she's become and doing this amazing healing that I've, experienced, it's amazing. And she works with ET, doesn't she? And she channels, just going over for the listeners, she channels the ETs and lets the ETs work on the people. And I've actually experienced it, and it's amazing. Like, she channels them to access us sometimes, and I actually saw one of them. He came inside me, and I had a conversation with him. And the healing that they do is very advanced. Obviously, they're not human. And I just felt all this stuff coming out of me. I mean, just so many experiences I've had with the different sessions. So how did that happen with her? When did it occur, the big sort of shift?
I think she's always been like that. I mean, ever since I've known her, she's been working with people, healing people. I mean, that is her passion, as you probably know. But I guess she got into a lot of the conspiracy stuff, which she's not really doing anymore. All the super soldiers and all that kind of thing. And she sort of distanced herself away from all that and people like Matthew Johnston and Kerry Cassidy and all that kind of thing, because it's all just drama. There's nothing,
for sure.
It doesn't accomplish anything. You can talk about stories about people in underground bases and all these people being abused and attacked and super soldiers and what they do and, aliens and all this kind of thing, but it doesn't accomplish anything. I think Sarah really wants to just help people.
Oh, for sure, it doesn't accomplish anything. I was quite excited when I found Miles Johnston and listened to Max and James, but you're like, oh, okay, what does it mean? Reptilians are in control, and then it's like there's a ceiling to it, and all these whistleblowers.
It's like a lot of fear porn. That's what I call it. It's just fear porn. It's like
I mean, even the Kerry Cassidy, talking about this whistleblower and that. But at the end of the day, they're just saying, the really interesting ones are the ones that talk about ET. But that's it, isn't it? Oh yeah, saw a reptilian, saw the Greys, and then that's it. And you're waiting for more, but there isn't more.
And a lot of it is just the same stories over and over again.
I know.
And I've heard this one before, So, and I mean, I when I first started, I guess you would call waking up, I watched everything, like pretty much everything, Coast to Coast, League Project, Project Camelot. I watched all the channels, all the forums. I was a member of all the forums, and it's almost like I wanted to know everything. And then after a while, after like a few years, you sort of like you're still in the same place. You know all this stuff. There's nothing you can do. You feel like you're powerless. You can't. The government's doing this, the government's doing that. What are you going to do? You're going to go out and protest.
I know.
What does that accomplish? Nothing really. All this stuff about aliens, and why don't these aliens come here and help us or something? Everyone's saying there's aliens visiting us, things about time travel and super soldiers and all this kind of thing. And yeah, it's all information. You take it as you take it. What you do with it, I don't know. There's not really much people who listen to all this stuff can do with it. You can relate to it. Maybe you think you've had similar experiences in past lives, or you might have been part of these programs or projects. But at the end of the day, a lot of it is just talk.
It is talk, yeah. And I think mainstream don't believe it. I mean, I put it in my book. I made it a novel. I tried to get it out there. Publishers just don't want to hear that super soldier mind control stuff. They really don't like it. They really don't believe it. And okay, it comes out in things like Stranger Things. They put it out the way they want to put it out, but talking about it as connected to real people, they just don't want that kind of thing out there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's why Sarah's sort of moved on from all that, and she's just focusing on her work. We are doing something with Netflix. It's going to be a multi-part series. I can't really say too much about it, but it will be exposing the truth movement, basically, for what it really is. And we're going to try and get a lot of people on there, quite well-known people, celebrities, to talk about the truth movements and what it's really about.
Oh,
and
interesting.
That should be interesting. Yeah.
It's weird. I'm doing stuff with Netflix. Well, not me, obviously. They're doing something about the fake shake. You know Mazza Mahmood?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you tell me about that. I thought was that the BBC, or is that something else? You're doing something else?
No, the BBC was Private Eyes on the Press. But this other thing now, there's 2 channels, maybe 3. One of them is Netflix, Sky, some others doing stuff about Mazza. Yeah, they've gone Mazza crazy. They asked me to go on 2 of them, so I had to choose. I don't know why they're getting so interested in him. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy, really, because I think he's going to be, this is the most evil person on the planet, I hate it the way, when they do that,
Yeah, is he, whatever happened to him? Is he?
Oh, he's still around. Yeah, he lives in Birmingham with his mother. Right. But, he was used by the press. He didn't think about who to target. It was others.
Was he basically like told by whoever to go and do this person just celebrity or whatever? Or
he was ordered,
Right.
But they're just gonna hang him out to dry. I mean, I don't think they're attacking Murdoch with these programs. I think it's just him. I feel sorry for him. He's down on his luck. He's got no money. He's living with his mother back in Birmingham. And all it's going to do is it's going to make people recognize him in the street. And, I just, I wish they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't get it really. I mean, I guess you call him a patsy in a lot of ways. He's just taking the fall for a lot of the downfall of the news of the world and all that, I guess. And that's still continuing, isn't it, with people being sued, I guess.
Yeah, I think they want to get the other tabloids as well, like the Daily Mail. I think they're after the Daily Mail. They want to control the press even more, but they control it as it is. So I think they want the public on side, and they want the public to think, it's really bad. Look at this guy. He did this. He did that. Let's never have that again. You know how stupid the public can be. And
yeah.
So they go for it, and let's have new rules in place about journalism and journalists. Let's make them all completely controlled by the state and scared shitless to do anything. And there you go. They've done it, haven't they? I mean, I feel bad taking part in it, but
this is all very similar to like when I said that doesn't accomplish anything in like the awakened communities, moving the same thing's happening now in mainstream.
Mm.
You know, all these people are being sued. Who gains from it? You know, that's what you got to like think about. Who gains from all this stuff?
Who do you think gains?
In the mainstream, it just brings more publicity, doesn't it? It's more headlines, sells more papers. You know, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, isn't it?
I think
Sell
it's
more
about
papers.
control. I think it's about
Really?
control. Yeah, because they don't want any investigative journalism exposing people at the top. They don't want that again. They never want that again. You know, they never want to say, oh, this one, you know, in an orgy or, you know, at the end of the day, they want it where it's, you know, not exposing anybody. That's my impression.
That's what people want, isn't it? They want the sensationalism, and they want to see celebrities in compromising positions, you know, and all this kind of thing. That's what sells papers at the end of the day.
Yeah,
otherwise, it would be a bit boring, wouldn't it? Really?
Oh, of course, but they, the lords, the priests and priestesses of Hollywood, and you know the ones that control us, they don't want it. You know, they don't want any media outlets being out of control. I mean, I think it's all sewn up, isn't it? Really, I don't know about Murdoch.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know about Murdoch. He's going to die soon anyway. I mean, he's so old.
I mean, I'm sure there's like gossip and stuff on everyone. I mean, look at the whole Jimmy Savile thing. Everybody at the BBC knew what was going on. Nobody said anything until he died. It all comes out when people die. I don't really understand that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it all comes out.
Yeah, the BBC quite nasty. The BBC took me for an interview, and they're all right to start with, but then they said, oh, what do you like doing? Let's take some shots of you walking your dog. I said, I haven't got a dog, but I like going to Richmond Park. So took them to Richmond Park, and I went down to these lakes, which I like going, and they started really interrogating me, really in a nasty way, you know. And I thought, oh, hang on. And I just really bad pain in my side. So I got a pain in my side, but they were still kind of shouting at me. You did this, look at this, you did that. You've got details of Wayne Rooney's broken foot. I said, I don't know anything about Wayne Rooney's broken foot. They were both shouting at me. And I thought, well, you know, I'm supposed to crumble now, be scared of you, you know. And I just said, I don't know anything about goddamn Wayne Rooney, you know. And I thought, quit bullying me. And I've got delayed reactions. I came home and I started, you know, a couple of days later to feel really bad. And I emailed them and they said, oh, you were okay at the time. I felt like saying, yeah, I'm an abuse victim. I got delayed reactions. But quite frankly, all that shit about them behaving nicely is bullshit. They were well out of order to me. They really were.
I always feel like people with the BBC always have an ulterior motive. And
they do.
I don't know if you watched. I think recently a documentary came out on Teal Swan, and they were like following her around for like 5-6 years. They were like the film crew and the producers and everyone made friends with her, and they were like, it was like the premise was like they were going to show her work and how wonderful she was and all the good work she does. And when the actual documentary came out, it was basically an expose on her being like this cult leader and a narcissist.
No, you're kidding.
All this kind of stuff. And she had no creative control. She didn't have any clue that they were going to do this to her, you know. And
was that the BBC?
No, it was on, where was it on? It was on one of these channels like Hulu or something, or Peacock TV. It was one of these smaller sort of streaming channels.
Yeah, they're bastards. I mean, they do that, you know. It's well out of order. It's well out of order. I mean, I know this one I've agreed to speak to, the Netflix ones for Mazza, and I think, oh, are they gonna make me out to be evil? And someone said, yeah, they'll make you out to be evil, like you're just.
Yeah, I mean, they can edit it.
Yes.
In any way they want to make it look like you're some kind of, you know, narcissist or some evil person who was stalking people.
Exactly.
And, you know, and even Teal Swan did several videos, like, after it all came out, saying, here's the real footage, here's the full, you know, interview, here's the bits that they cut together. These were actually filmed on separate days, you know, and when they edit it all together, it makes it look completely different.
Wow. They're so sick, aren't they? They're really bad. They're really bad. They made me apologize. Sienna Miller went and said publicly she got a lot of money out of Murdoch. She came out of court and she was saying, oh, Rebecca Brooks and Christine Hart. So therefore, I made the decision to have an abortion. Well, she called it pregnancy termination. No, she didn't call it that. I decided to not have my baby. And it was Christine Hart and Rebecca Brooks caused that. Christine Hart rang my GP pretending to be my aide. No, I didn't. If you ring someone's GP being someone's aide, they tell you to get stuffed.
Yeah.
I said that, and they asked me about that, and I explained what happened. I said I was asked to ring an abortion clinic by the Sun. I didn't want to do it because those places are like they tape phone calls, so I didn't want to do it. And I thought, hang on, why do the Sun want to know if she's had an abortion with Jude Law? And the BBC said, oh, did you make any calls on it? And I said, well, I rang Jude Law, but I can't remember what I said. And I didn't ring Jude Law to ask about Sienna Miller. I rang him because I had his number and because I liked Jude Law. But they didn't believe that. They totally didn't believe that. Why would you? Why would you ring him? I thought, well, why wouldn't I ring him? If I had Robert De Niro's number, I'd ring that. You know, what am I, a goody two-shoes for the Sun? No, I'm not. And then what else did they say? They said, well, now we want you to sit and apologize to Sienna Miller for having anything to do with that. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry I work for the Sun, but I never had anything to do with that story. They'll go, say sorry again. Sorry to Sienna Miller. And I feel ashamed I've ever worked for the tabloid. And, of course, they're going to cut that, aren't they, to make it look like I rang her GP and now I'm saying sorry for it. And I thought of that a few days later, and I said, you guys made me say sorry, and do you know what? I'm not sorry because I didn't do anything. And I thought, I was too late, Christine. You've been a damn idiot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. And I said to them, it's nothing I can do, you know, but you guys carrying on like that, you'll get bad karma for it. I said, but say what you want, you know? I don't really care. I'm getting on a bit now, so, you know, who gives a damn? But it's this I thought it's a bit Miles Johnson. You know, Miles Johnson still says that thing about that Michael Aquino guy that I got his bedside phone number, and I didn't. I had to ask you at the time. Remember for his email. Why does he do that?
Yeah.
He's the one.
Most people don't know like the way that came about, the interview that Miles Johnston did with Michael Aquino.
Exactly, because you got him first.
I got it. I had the interview because I was doing my radio show on Revolution Radio back then. But Sarah said, don't interview him. You don't want it to anything to do with him. So I sort of thought about it for a while. I thought I might just do it behind Sarah's back, but I didn't. And then I gave it to you. I said, do you want it? Do you want to interview Aquino? You said, yeah, cool. And then I think you thought about it. I don't know why you didn't do it, but maybe you want to say
I got bullied. I got bullied. Douglas Dietrich stepped in and said, oh, Christine, I'm not going to speak to you anymore if you do that.
All right.
Hawk on who owns Revolution Radio, he said, yeah, you're not going to get my radio station, you know, in his accent. So I said, well, fine. You know, I didn't have any choice. And then there was loads of people in the Truth Movement going, you can't talk to him, you can't talk to him. Same people that had said that I was somehow in with him or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like so annoying. And so I got bullied shitless. So I asked Miles, and Miles went, oh, how do I get in contact with him? And I said, well, I found his email online because I'd sent him a couple of emails, but I forgot what it was because it's something weird like Zippo, isn't it? And so you can't put in his name. So I forgot that it was that. So I asked you, and you had to give it to me. And that's what Miles used to get in contact with him. Now, I don't know whether he got his telephone number.
No, I emailed on Michael Aquino because I mean you told me, and I said Miles Johnston will be in touch with you to interview you. So, you know, then I think he replied to me, said, I can't remember why I told him I wasn't able to do the interview. I think I said something like Miles would be more appropriate, or his channel would be more appropriate for your content.
But you know, it was really bad. I thought Miles' interview. He didn't talk about Monarch, and then after. It was just a big plug for Aquino's book. Oh, it's bullshit. Because that's all they talked about. It was like, oh yeah, it's in my book. Really go read my book. Go buy my book. He
Like, that's
didn't
always.
ask him. He didn't ask him about the occult. He didn't ask if he could astral journey, put people into tension. Like he, came to me astrally and locked me up for about a week. Locked my astral body up. He's a black magician. Well, he is a black magician. He says it, doesn't he? And why didn't Miles ask him about anything like that? He just, he took
You can ask him, like, you can ask
book.
him. I don't think he even asked him about Douglas Dietrich or Max or any serious questions about the work he did for the military and all that kind of thing.
Nothing.
Nothing really. It's basically, I don't even remember how many episodes it was, but
It was 3, and in that 3, he managed to say nothing.
yeah,
it was Miles. Miles managed to ask him just such lightweight, silly questions. I mean, it just didn't go anywhere. I mean, when he'd finished, I emailed Aquino and said, could I interview now? The bullies kind of rescinded, and I thought, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And he said, what do you want to talk about? And I said, like, Monarch mind control. And he said, oh, if you believe in that, you must be crazy. And I said, well, I'm just going to talk to you about it. You must, it's about the occult. Surely you can discuss it. And he said, if I talk about something like that, I'd end up dead. So he admitted there and then that he knew.
right. Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, yeah, he's dead now, isn't he? Well, supposedly he's dead. It's
yeah, he's
who knows?
Well, that should stop people talking about him. It doesn't really, though, does it? It goes on and on. Oh God.
Yeah, I think it's once it's out there. I think, yeah. I mean, he was just a weird-looking character, wasn't he? So that's probably why people have so much conspiracy.
Well, he did have that occult stuff. I mean, when I sent him a couple of emails and said I thought I was a Monarch MK victim, I grew up in care. Next thing I saw that rabbit in front of me, and then part of me came up, went after him, and then it was weird. I went really strongly across land and then straight diving down, and it seemed like a rabbit hole, and then he was at the bottom of it, and he said, what do you want with me? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, no, what do you actually want, like in life? And I said, well, love, I think. And then he said, follow me. And he walked down this corridor. And then at the end of it, I could see the universe and the stars. And it was really awesome. And then he showed me this, what I know now as a trapezoid. And I didn't know back then. I described it as a shape within a shape. And he said, climb inside there and you can go in the consciousness of anyone throughout history. And that's when I said, isn't this wrong? What about Jesus? And then I found myself back in my body as soon as I said that name. And then he pulled me out via pulled out my astral body via the bottoms of my feet. He did that for a few days until I got control back and was just pulling me into a room on the astral and tasering me, asking me who I was, what I wanted. It was pretty bad. I was pretty scared, actually. There were other people there. There were greys there at one point. I mean, it was really not nice. I was plunged back into all sorts of visions from my childhood. So he's probably a good black magician. I mean, you get someone like J.S. Garrett, E.A. Keating, they can do all that too if they feel like it. I mean, but they don't do it. So it's nothing that others can't do. And I was listening to an interview he did on YouTube, and there's quite a few from that Temple of Set. And I just found it recently. It's called As So Be It, or something like that, the channel. And it's got, apparently they're called the Order of the Trapezoid. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I'll listen to that. And then I listened to it, but they never come out with any, nitty gritty. They never come out with what they're actually doing. It's like the OTO, they don't really like to talk about.
No, unless you're in the group or whatever, you're part of it, they won't discuss it with you, isn't it?
Yeah, but I joined the OTO and I went along to some of their meetings, and then they get you to study books. And I got to the point where it was denouncing Yahweh. So I'd done some psalm magic in the past. I didn't want to do that. So I came to a little bit of a halt with the OTO. I mean, I still talk to the people there. But again, I found that they didn't talk about what they're doing. I mean, are they using that trapezoid to journey about? I mean, what actually is it? And then Aquino himself had this lecture. It was about an hour, and he was talking about how he found Set and it all sounded a little bit junior magician, because he was sitting there having meditation, and then he felt this entity, and he didn't even see the entity. He just felt it, and then he thought, I think that's probably the Egyptian, from the Egyptian pantherism. I can't say it. I can't think, the Egyptian gods. And then he thought, because of the energy, it was the sort of dark one, and it was Set. And that's how, and I was waiting for the bit where, there was loads of information, and Set said this, Set said that, said the other, but he didn't have that.
That's exactly what Aquino did in Mars's interview. He said, you read my book, so, you won't discuss it on air, but it's all in his book, apparently. So
do you think it is in his book, what Set said, and Set came out with?
I don't know. I think it's just a way for people to buy his book.
I think there's probably nothing in there. I really do, because, I mean, you'd at least give a little tiny hint of it in interviews. And he waffled on about, he went out to Egypt and he stood in the temple, but it all really sounds junior magician. Do you know what I mean? I felt something. No, I thought it must be Lucifer. And so then I went out to Mount Sinai and Lucifer spoke, and you think, oh, fuck off, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's like bullshit. You're just a larper,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I think, he probably could astral journey and all that, and he's probably studied how to do that and really pumped himself in that way. But so can other people, there's a lot of people in the truth movement that, they can appear to each other astrally and all that, So I think he's a bit of a larper,
But he was wasn't he like the head of the Church of Satan or something?
He was with Anton LaVey and decided then, when he had his extraordinary experience, to start off his own church. I mean, Jesus Christ. That's so silly. Oh, and that Douglas Dietrich, who I used to think was cute looking.
Oh God, I can't. He does 12-hour podcasts. I can't even imagine. Does he?
No, but I used to dig him. When we talked, on Skype, and then he said that really weird stuff that Sarah told him off for. Stop talking about other people's children, which was appalling. He said something it was really weird, something like, my rent is paid by Michael Aquino. Chance would be a fine thing to get your rent paid by somebody. And apparently he comes round my house here in England. Yeah. He comes round and doesn't want to have sex with me for this rent. Oh, my son. And I apparently let him because I think he's George Clooney. And he went on saying this for ages, re-repeating it. And then recently I was listening to his podcast. He was saying it again. I mean, I don't know why he does that kind of shit.
He's full of shit, basically. I mean,
he said it about Lorien Fenton as well. I heard another older podcast. Anyway, Lorien Fenton, Michael Aquino pays her rent. I mean, it's kind of funny to use the same insult. And then the other day I saw him as well, because I'm wondering, has he gone a bit crazy? So I was listening to, just kind of short listening to a few. There was one where he was saying he was a vampire and he drinks blood. And then he roped his poor mother into it. Oh, my mother drinks blood and her bed. So he thinks of the worst insults that you can say about a person. And he trots it out, Which...
He just likes to talk crap. I remember a couple of years ago, I think I was in Egypt with Sarah, and he was like, "Oh, look, Sarah's got all this money. She's flying around the world, going on all these trips. She must be like, a paid shill or something, or she must work for the cabal or something. Like, where'd she get all this money from? I'm
He
like,
said that. He said that to me.
he said that to you as well.
Yeah, no, about Sarah. He said Max and Sarah, when Max God rest his soul, was alive. He said, "Oh, Max and Sarah, where do you get their money from? They just go around the world and stay here and stay there.
Oh,
I'm just wondering where they get their money from." It's none of his business, though, quite frankly.
Here's someone who's talking like, he doesn't even have any money, so he probably lives on benefits. So I don't know.
I think he gets a lot of donations. Apparently, he had this guy. This Indian guy was giving him money, and then they fell out. And he texted me in my messenger and said, "Oh, I heard you knew him, and he was talking shit about you." So I went on one of his podcasts. Then I had him on mine. He was talking about God. So I put it up on YouTube. Next thing, he blocked me. So I don't know. And I asked that Penny Bradley, Penny Bradley, this.
Yeah, I know Penny, yeah.
And she said, "Oh, he doesn't like anyone that's friends with Douglas because you're spying on him for Douglas." And I thought, but I haven't spoken to Dietrich in years. So I don't know. But I've been blocked by a lot of people lately. It's weird. They're like, "You're spying on me." And some other truth guy was saying,
I think he had like some kind of weird assistant as well, which was also, can't remember her name. She was quite obsessive as well. I think she hated Sarah and all kinds of things, and was spreading gossip about people. So, Douglas is his assistant.
Oh, right. I don't know.
Remember her?
You on? No.
But like a few years ago, he had a female assistant.
Oh, Laura Lee Solomon.
Oh, that's her. Yes, that's her. And she is. Oh man, I think I had a conversation with her about coming on my show or something. And she says, "Who are you? Who are you to ask Douglas Dietrich to come on your show?" I was like, "Oh my God." She was so condescending and like,
he was a bitch. He asked to come on my show, talk about Japan and Pearl Harbor. And I thought he might start slagging off Americans. So because I was getting a lot of American fans following me on Facebook, I didn't want to kill that. So I said, well, I have to control what you say. I'd rather be there. And so what she did, Laura, is quite sneaky. She got to the studio before I did on my own show and hooked in the studio. So she had control. I came on. I said to her, "But wasn't I supposed to hook it?" And she goes, "No, I've got it." So I was like, "Oh, fine." I started talking to him, interviewing him about Japan, and I think it was better because I slowed him down. He can go off talk really, really fast.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's better. But she cut me off, and I felt kind of really pissed about that. And I spoke to Hawk about it, and then next thing, he didn't ever speak to me again. And then that was that,
Mhm. Yeah, I never really got on with Hawk. That's actually why I left Revolution Radio. One of the reasons I left Revolution Radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of car crash shows, like one with Laura Eisenhower, I think. That never got.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think another one where someone was swearing or something. He had a go at me, saying, "Oh, I'm going to get all these fines," because she kept swearing like every 5 seconds and all this kind of thing.
That's a shame.
All this kind of thing, and then.
So has anybody heard about James Casbolt? Has he disappeared into the mist?
All I know is I spoke to Kieran, I think last year.
Yeah.
And Kieran was talking to, I can never remember his name, John Irwin. Kieran has weekly calls with John Irwin, and he told me that Casbolt was talking to John Irwin, and John Irwin's the only person he'll talk to. So I've seen a lot of people online saying that they're talking to James Casbolt. It's all bullshit. He's not allowed on social media. He's not allowed YouTube, Facebook, any of that kind of thing. He's still on some kind of restraining order from his ex. So he's not allowed to contact her or the children. Really? He's not allowed to be, in contact with her through social media and all this kind of stuff. He's basically not allowed even an email address. So I don't know how these people.
Won't he
I don't
see
know
the
how these people
child?
are saying that they're contacting him. How are they contacting him? Like through some psychic or something? You know,
Yeah.
I
Won't he
mean,
see the child again?
no, I
Really?
can't. Yeah, can't say too much about that. But
Yeah.
no, he's not even allowed in the United States. So I don't know how that would happen. He's not allowed to go back to the United States.
Oh, I see. Wow. He was really triggered, I suppose, to do that shit.
Yeah, I mean that was all. I mean, I wasn't really around all that.
I wasn't around then
I
either.
saw the aftermath. You know, obviously, with him going to prison, and I
Mm.
knew one of his friends who appeared in his very last video. She actually vanished. That was all very weird. Carolyn, her name was.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know the very last interview he did? And he sat in that hotel room.
Yeah, so was that Carolyn?
And a woman walks out towards the end of the interview. That's Carolyn.
Yes. Oh, right.
And he was staying with her for like the last few months before he went to prison. So we were talking every day. After this was like a year after, maybe a couple of years after, because I met her at the bases of the barge in 2015, where Max and Sarah spoke for the very first time in public. You know, when they like sat up on stage together, talking together. And yeah, she was there, and we sort of became friends. And like a few years ago, she literally vanished off the face of the earth. Like her phone number stopped working, her social media disappeared, emails disappeared, everything. It was all very weird. I don't know what happened to her. I hope she's okay, but you know, I don't know what happened with that.
A lot of weird things happen around Miles and all that. I mean, I feel sorry for Casbolt because I think that had he not have gone on there, had he not done the super soldier talking, and then, you know, Haley Mail wouldn't have, you know, been attracted to him. I just think she was like well out of his league, not being mean about James Casbolt, but, you know, he was on the dole, he was living in Cornwall. She's like modelly looking, celebrity more or less. And so
yeah, I know Haley,
yeah, so she's really stunning. And so he must have been like blown away totally. And then when it finishes, he like flips out. But he should never have been with a girl like that anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, bit out of your league kind of thing. So I think he was like set up to like flip out, you know, when it sort of.
I think he was. I don't know if he was like mentally all there most of the time, because he did smoke a lot of weed from what I hear. You know?
Well, there was that weird one of the last interviews where he had like grey hair and he was by the sea and he took Miles.
Yeah, Marg and Kathy Morgan, I remember.
And he went back and he was sitting on that city and he was going to, was a portal out there to sea and all that. I thought that was a little bit strange.
Yeah, that was weird. I'm not entirely sure what the point of that interview was, but
yeah, I know, it was really weird. He always says he was adopted age 4, which strikes me as weird because I was adopted age 4. Then he says he was adopted from a Catholic orphanage and I was adopted from a Catholic orphanage. And I think, that's a bit of a coincidence, you know? That's why I wanted to talk to him. And I wrote to him around when you were writing to him. I wrote to him. He replied. The letters were a bit weird and I couldn't make sense of them.
Yeah, he always did that. You know, you write to him and ask him some questions. You completely ignore your questions and you just write back whatever you wanted to write back.
I found that annoying, and I sat down one day and I wrote a long letter and it had all the questions. I said, you have a similar life to mine, and you know, I came from the Crusader Rescue. Where did you come from? And and he just ignored it, and he wrote back. Oh, what a pity. You wrote such a long letter, but I can't read your writing. And that was it for me. I just thought, mate, I spent a long time writing that letter. And for you just to say you can't read it because it wasn't that illegible, I felt a bit pissed off. And I thought, I'm just going to knock it on the head. And it just has to be one of those things that I'll always be a bit curious about. But, it's a shame because I was curious about that. I just wanted to question him about that, but maybe there's a lot of people who are adopted at that age. I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence, you know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure he was adopted, because isn't his mother his real mother?
Some people said that online, that he wasn't actually adopted after all.
Yeah, because I'm sure I've seen some pictures of him with his mother, and he's quite young in them. Can't remember if he's younger than 4, but if he was adopted at 4, then I'd be quite surprised.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember. It was a few years ago, but I'm sure I heard somewhere that he wasn't adopted. But a lot of the stories he made up, you know, I mean, I spoke to my friend Carolyn, who I just mentioned earlier, who was living with him, and she told me that she asked him straight up, like, is any of what you're saying true? And I think she said, oh, it's probably about 40% at the most of what he said was true, and the rest of it was either he exaggerated or he elaborated or it was just blatant lies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
So
he's really good at lying, though.
oh, well, I guess in a way he was like sort of a narcissist. Narcissists are very good at lying. You know, they can sit in front of you with a straight face and lie to you convincingly. And yeah, I know. I've watched all of, you know, James Casbolt's interviews, and he's very convincing. He is very.
But where did he get all the info, like the Nazis being from Aldebaran and stuff like that? Where did all that come from?
I don't honestly know. Maybe he read a lot of books, or I don't know. But he was good friends with John Irwin, so who knows? Maybe John Irwin told him a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think back then, like when he was younger, I don't think he knew him then. I mean, and if you listen to the Bases and the Barge interview, that one where he seems really different, more interesting somehow, that was very entertaining, wasn't it? How he shot loads of people, how he was hung upside down, had his liver cut out of him, and that was so entertaining.
I mean, that one
should have been there.
Yeah. But again, yeah, it's like, you know, a lot of the stuff he was talking about. He said he shot Max, or Max shot him in the head.
Yeah.
Max, I think, said in an interview or something that was complete bullshit. Never happened. The whole thing about Sotheby's, where he was like, you know, I think I don't think I've ever asked Haley about that, but you know, he went to his dinner with Haley Sotheby's, and he went to the bathroom. There was like a Glock there and a submachine gun or something, and he just walked into the room and started shooting people in the head. You know, and you think, well, that might appear in the news somewhere, maybe. You know, the whole room full of people might, you know, get blasted, kind of thing.
Do you think that's Miles' fault for putting a camera on somebody, and if they're having a life that's not all that interesting, and somebody comes along with a big ass BBC-looking camera and points it at you, that you sort of try and have something to say, you know, and that you sort of...
I think he wanted to. I don't know if he's wanted to be famous or. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to be famous. He wanted to do something, you know, that people remember. You know, and maybe he's probably been remembered now for the wrong stuff. You know, for everything, all the bad stuff that he did.
Yeah, that's a shame, because his stuff isn't online anymore, is it?
I think a lot of it's been taken down. I still have a playlist on my YouTube with all the remaining videos. You know, I've got a series for Max, a series for James, Sarah. You know, every video I can find, I put it on my playlist. But a lot of the stuff went when Mars's channel went down. And then, of course, Kerry Cassidy's channel went down. A lot of the videos were on those two channels. So, you know, unless they're copied on another channel, they're gone. I mean, I've got backup copies of all of Sarah's and Max's stuff. I don't know if I've got any of James Casbolt's. You know, I might do somewhere. But, yeah, I think a lot of the stuff is gone now from James Casbolt's videos.
What about the one by the sea? Is that gone?
That might be gone, but I'm pretty sure I got a copy myself. But you know, obviously I can't post it because bloody Mars will probably copyright strike it or something. So I can't post any of that stuff myself. You know, unless I set up another channel or something. But yeah, I've got a lot of stuff, even the new stuff. I think, which I don't know if you saw. Mars posted some the videos where Max is sort of drunk.
Oh yes, I saw those.
Ones.
Yes.
And I think there was a lot of stuff. I think a few years ago, Sarah said, you know, she didn't want those videos out, obviously because of the way that his demeanor is, and he's obviously been drinking. I think even Vanessa said that she didn't want those videos out there, but I don't know, maybe she agreed to it now. I don't know why, but who knows.
Yeah, he seemed all right. He didn't seem that drunk. I mean, he wasn't like, I mean, he was making sense. So, I mean,
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't really matter. He's young and, you know, why not have a drink? I mean,
I don't understand the point in releasing those videos now. I think Mars said they contain important information or something, but I don't know. I can't really work out Mars anymore. Oh, not that I ever could. So
somebody said, oh gosh, I can't remember his name. The UFO guy that you know, he's got a bald head.
Ben Emlyn Jones.
Yes, Ben. Ben said he texted me the other day and said he was really worried about Mars and he thought that he was going a bit crazy and, you know, it had all to do with Sandra and he's gone
God. Yeah,
Sandra
well,
mad.
I saw Sandra and Miles recently. I went to the Awakenings event in Blackpool, which was the Gaia-supported conference, and yeah, Miles, everyone was there, pretty much everyone, because we haven't had a conference in like 2-3 years, a big conference over here, so pretty much everyone in the UFO community was there, including Miles and Sandra, a lot of people who I haven't seen for a while. I saw Miles and I tried to be sort of cordial, I guess. I said hello to him, but he ignored me. And of course, I went to his event. I think you know about that. And again, I only went there for the one day because there were some speakers I wanted to see, like Maria Wheatley and Bob Brown. I wanted to see a couple of other people, I think. But that's the only reason I went to the event. It's not that I wanted to, I did bump into Sandra, obviously. Again, didn't really speak to her, but we had a bit of a falling out last year because he tried to expose Miles. And now she's all buddy-buddy with him again. So,
yeah, it's really weird. I thought that he said to her, don't go to Poland or something, best stay out of it. And of course, Max was murdered in Poland. And
he told her to keep her pretty little nose out of it, otherwise it might get, hurt or something like that. Not in those words, but that sort of phrase. And yeah, we did a few videos. I went on Sean Atwood's show. Was it Sean?
Yes, I saw that.
His show with Sandra, and we were going to do a whole thing with him. And then obviously I had a bit of a fight with Sandra over something stupid, blocked her, and nothing happened after that. And the same thing will happen with Miles. She'll get tired of him or whatever, something will happen, and they won't speak to each other for a while again. It's a bit, I don't really understand Sandra. She's a bit of, when she loses her temper, you can't really talk to her.
She blocked me. I don't know why. I mean, she just blocked me, and
Yeah.
It's weird, actually. I had someone called Monica text me a couple of days ago, and they said something. Said, "Oh, sorry to disturb you." I said, "Well, who are you?" And they text back, "It's Monica." And I went, "I don't know anyone called Monica." And I'm wondering if it's that Monica with Max, because she rang me, just after he died. So I'm wondering, and then stupidly, though, I deleted it today because I thought, but I don't know anyone called Monica, apart from that Monica, the one out there in Poland.
Yeah, but why would Monica be contacting you now?
I don't know. Maybe you heard me talking on the radio about Max or something. Maybe she wants to come forward and talk. You never know. But if she's listening, then she needs to text me again and say, because I deleted that today. I mean, maybe it's not her, but I just don't know anyone called Monica.
What do you think about that whole situation in Poland? Do you think it was just an accident, or what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it's really weird, isn't it? He obviously took something he wasn't supposed to take, and I don't know. And then you've got that guy shouting at him that's really sinister, and they interviewed him in a really scary way, which makes you think they had him, and they sort of.
I mean, you did probably one of the last ever interviews with him. I mean,
I know.
Literally 2 days before he died, you were trying to get a hold of him, and you said, was he sick or something, or?
Yeah, he
never
said
happened, did it?
That
That interview?
Aquino guy was attacking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Attacking him because he did the post about him. He did the post about Sean
John Stone.
Yeah, Sean Stone said, oh, he had him on his show and he felt bad about Sean Stone. But I think he thought Sean fancied Sarah. So I thought at the time maybe he was getting at Sean Stone. But anyway, then he said to me, oh, Aquino's upset about the post or something and he's attacking me. That's why I got headaches. And then he said, I've seen the 3 sages. And these messages went missing eventually off my Skype, but apparently John Irwin said that, or maybe it was Miles, he said that Skype messages do go after a while, but those went pretty quickly. Yeah, it was pretty horrible. I mean, I didn't even know he was going to go out to Poland. I mean, why was he out there, with those weird people? And somebody told me something about Sverdlow. They said that James Casbolt met Sverdlow or interacted with him, and then ever since they interacted with Sverdlow, he was never the same person, which I thought was quite creepy. And then I spoke to Sverdlow in Messenger one time and said, would he come on the show? And I had this really weird dream about him, that I was standing on a stage beside him and he turned to me and said, are you still under program? And I said, well, no, obviously I'm not, because we're speaking out about it. And he went, ugh, and he stabbed me in the stomach. It's really weird. And then, so I told him about the dream. Maybe I shouldn't have done. And that was it. He blocked me. So that was weird. So I don't know. I know, I mean, I've had a lot of dreams about it where Max was saying to them, please don't do this. You don't need to do this. Please don't do this. And so I don't know. I think they did murder him, actually.
Yeah, I mean, well, I know things about Sverdlow I can't really talk about on air. Maybe I'll talk to you about them later at some point.
Yeah.
But one of his students, he does these courses and things where you can go stay with him and he'll teach you all this stuff, came forward to me and Sarah and told us a lot of things about him.
Wow, what kind of things did they say?
Not good stuff, I can tell you.
They had stuff that you could take, right? Like stuff you could take.
No, it's worse than that.
Oh, Jesus, really? I'm so curious now.
I'm not going to say on air in case I'm not going to say anything on air. But yeah, Sverdlow is, I think it was a weird thing about Max's laptop. I think it was deleted, apart from one thing, which was like a screenshot of a message from Sverdlow, something like that.
Oh no, that's really creepy. Oh, we're getting time out. Sorry, I'm trying to find out what that was. Thank you, Taj, for coming on. It was a really interesting show. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and see you again next week.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message.
Still out there?
You're going back in?
There's still men out there. God damn. When I go home, people ask me, hey, Hoot, why do you do it, man? Why? Some kind of war junkie? I won't say a goddamn word. Why? They won't understand. They won't understand why we do it. They won't understand it's about the men next to you. And that's it. That's all it is.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, #1 listener-supported radio, the printing press for freedom at a time when freedom is needed the most.
I am Bill Johnson. Some consider my efforts to be an underground law school. I am not an attorney, and I do not give legal advice. I teach. That's lawful and legal. Consider yourself served. You are to appear Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, Studio A. My forte? Foreclosure and contract law. Grab your legal pad and pen. Learn a broad spectrum of law spanning administrative, criminal,